it was you with a new hairstyle and like a new do.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Does that people confuse you? Do people like know what one or the other? Or
Well,
something?
yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that you learn to deal with anyways throughout your life. Being confused for each other, but we try and make it not that difficult for people.
It's
you know,
like it'd be like that.
yeah.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad to know that I wasn't hallucinating. It wasn't the shrooms. Just kidding.
Yeah.
It was just like you guys were a real thing. So I'd like to know what sparked your interest in electronic music.
You want to actually hear the funniest story? Well, what the first electronic show I ever went to was the year I graduated high school, and we were always involved in like bands and stuff growing up. But all my friends were going out to UMass Amherst, and there was a Deadmau5 show going on out there, and he was doing his 4x4 equals 12 tour, and that was the first electronic show I ever went to. And as after that show, it was no looking back. Like it was just game over from there, because I just fell in love with the culture and like the music and the vibe that was on the dance floor.
Damn,
So
Deadmau5 for the very first time.
yeah.
Talk about setting the bar high.
I know. Yeah, I mean, my first rave was Scream at the World Beat Center. So
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
was
high.
16 years old.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And was that your experience?
Actually,
too?
no.
You
It was
guys go
actually.
together?
I actually was not there. It was only a couple months later that same year. It was Afrojack.
Oh, he used to be my
Cosette,
favorite.
yeah,
dude.
Cosette and someone else. It was Sazambuya because
But yeah, it was like
At
that
the
same year. I came back from that Deadmau5 show and was like, yo, you gotta go and check it out. At that point, we were writing hip hop beats and we were rapping and all that type of
what?
stuff. Yeah. So like I was like, yo, you gotta check out this electronic stuff. I think you're gonna really, really like it.
You gotta check this out. It's
Yeah.
out of this world. Okay. Good news, by the way. I just set up the live stream.
Cool.
We're on. All right. So I'd like to know, how did you transition into DJing? How long have you guys been doing it for?
We're coming up on we're a little bit over 8 years actually right now DJing. We got our first residency in Lowell, Massachusetts DJing. We were throwing parties with StayBad and stuff before that, but yeah, we just kind of when we started throwing parties, it was just something that we were into. And
it's like because what we really were trying to start was a clothing brand to start, which is what
really?
StayBad really started as, and then we had friends who owned bars where we were able to like host parties that were sponsored by the clothing brand. You know, when you're 18 years old, that's like a cool way
That's super cool, for
and
sure.
then it eventually developed into wow, we really like this, and this is something that we really want to be about. And then
yeah, so yeah, 8 years. So right around we were DJing before we were 21, but right when we hit 21, we already had the opportunities to play at like local bars and stuff like that, and we started developing the skills. We were playing house parties and all that type of stuff before like any DJ electronic DJ starts.
Oh yeah,
off
that's
on,
how I
you know?
started. My first gig was at the living room of my family's Christmas party.
Yeah.
That's how I started DJing. So we all gotta start somewhere.
yeah.
So I would like to know. I'm curious to know, what are your individual strengths when it comes to DJing? Like, is one better at doing something than the other, or?
I would say that Pat has a little bit more of a free-flowing, creative energy behind him when he's behind the decks. He likes to take a little bit more risks that could be high risk, like it's high risk, high reward type situations. I'm
It
a little
could
bit
sound amazing or it could sound terrible.
yeah. Where I'm a little bit more like I will follow the books to make sure
You
that
like to
yeah,
more
like,
structured?
Yeah, keep it a little bit more like in the lines type situation. But but us together, that also creates a very dynamic situation that can go like a lot of different directions.
You combine your forces, like your different strengths, and that's really cool. So where do you guys get your inspiration to create mixes and DJ and all that?
Inspiration as far as artists, or inspiration just in general in life?
Like the type of music, or like yeah. I mean, I feel like most of my inspiration just comes from experience and like the life that I've lived. So, I draw a lot of emotional energy into like the music that I pick for my sets, and like even the music that we've been producing lately is drawn off of maybe hardship or like
I feel it.
It's not just hardship. It's also like you draw inspiration off of the powerful moments in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, powerful moments, like the EP that we're coming out with in January too. It was like it was going through a hard part at the start of this year, just me personally, and just like us together and like our relationship. And then when we came together to create this EP, it was just like one really emotional night, and then all three songs just kind of formed right after that for this new EP because we were really channeled in. We were working on personal growth, and it was
meaningful.
Yeah, and it felt like we were writing down in a journal and like getting some emotional stuff off of us, and that's where the music kind of came from.
That's usually how it goes with artists. I feel like they have to go through something to like get that creativity flow. I mean, even for me, for this show, like before it started, I was going through some deep like emotional healing, and I was trying to like find a purpose and something that will give me a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment in my life.
Absolutely.
So this came along, and you know, sometimes from like adversity, that's when you grow and like learn the most, and that's when you create like the most beautiful things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So what can I expect in the first half of the mix?
So this is actually a live mix that we had recorded from Spin. We played by chance. Someone got caught up at the border coming over to play direct support for Tara Brooks.
Oh, I wonder who did it. Just kidding.
Yeah. And so we ended up just jumping on because of the open time slot, and it actually ended up becoming like a really, really great mix because of the spontaneity of it. Like there
was no pre-planning. It was just like embracing where you were at in that moment.
And
like,
so this is the first song that you'll hear is an original that that's coming out in our EP in January. But yeah, it was the best part about this is like the spontaneity of it, and like we didn't know we were playing that night, and it ended up being a little bit of
something together.
Yeah, but it ended up being a little bit of magic. So
yeah, sometimes people talk smack about procrastinators or people that do things last minute, but those are the times that you like get the most creative. All right, awesome. I think I'm ready to hear this mix, and we'll be back in 10 minutes to continue the interview. And you're listening to KCR College Radio, the award-winning sound of state. Oh yeah, you're bringing the vibes. Was feeling it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds like a goddess speaking to me. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying my dance moves on the live stream. I gotta do some announcements before I go on the interview. Are you a fan of podcasts? Make sure to tune in on KCR On Demand, the newest platform of entertainment from your radio hosts here at SDSU. Find us on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud at KCR College Radio. Also, you don't have any plans this weekend? Damn. Check out the House of Blues in downtown San Diego for some amazing concerts in one beautiful venue. Make sure to check out our giveaways on kcrlive.com for a chance to win tickets to concerts throughout the semester. And stop at Music at the Mesa from 12 to 1 on Thursdays for more giveaway opportunities. And lastly, Technician's having a very special event tonight featuring the boys from Divinity, Josh Taylor, Dark District, and Ewick, bringing the dark techno. So join us tonight at Rich's Nightclub from 10 p.m. Yeah, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Tickets are only $5. Like, you're not gonna get techno that cheap ever. So you better go. Don't miss out. And if you want me to announce your events, I'm always looking for sponsors. If you think you have an offer I can't refuse, email me at scarletlettershow@gmail.com. And now we're back with Postscript. And I'd like to know, what's the story behind the name?
It's actually kind of funny.
It's pretty simple, actually. I mean, when you break it down. So
Yeah.
Break it down.
So Postscript, it's a P.S. at the end of a letter.
Yeah.
And my name's Patrick, and his name is Shane. So P.S. It's the initials, and then it just kind of blended into that. But to elaborate on it,
I mean, originally when we first started DJing, doing like the college party stuff, before we really got into more house and techno, we called ourselves Stoop Kids. And that was originally what we were called. And then when we were like taking a little bit more of a serious note with the music that we were playing, and it wasn't just like college party like hip hop mashup type stuff.
Yeah.
We decided to take a little bit more serious approach, and PS
the rebranding, yeah.
Postscript.
Yeah,
love
it sounded natural. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's just perfect. Sometimes something just works out, you know?
Yeah. It feels like it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yes, yeah. I love it. So I would like to know, if you guys practice any ritual before DJing at events.
Like a practice ritual?
Yeah, any ritual. It could be like meditation or a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We definitely take a shot before we get up there.
Yeah. It's weird because like we've been approached so many different times with like different opportunities to DJ, like where it could be just on the spur of the moment, where becoming ritualized in it almost makes it feel like it sets a standard of what you need to do to perform. If you're always ready and like you're always ready to perform, sometimes you just don't need the ritual. Our ritual would be just prepping our crates.
Yeah.
Like just having music ready would be that's the
ritual.
Yeah, we sit down together in a dark room and we just go through music, like volumes of music, scour YouTube, Beatport, everything.
Yeah, you just gotta be ready.
Yeah.
And
that's the ritual. You can feel comfortable going up there if you've done that prep work.
Cool.
We walk up with like 6 USBs. It's like, all right, choose your weapon today.
You just gotta be prepared.
Yeah.
That's so important. I feel like for me, like when I started DJing, like I wasn't taking it too seriously, and sometimes I remember I DJ'd at Univision, like on TV, and I didn't prepare. I was just like, I'll just play whatever, and it's like. It wasn't a disaster, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
No, but I also think that's an issue that a lot of DJs like trying to make a name or even establish. Yeah, but it's also like self-criticism is also like probably one of the biggest detriments to a lot of the up and coming DJs who are actually going out there and really putting their head to the grindstone and digging for music and like doing everything right, and then they get off of a set that they've been anticipating, and then even though they're the only ones that think so, it's like, ow,
they think it was crap.
Yeah, exactly. I think that when you're surrounded by a bunch of inspiring DJs, especially in the San Diego community, like it's like everyone's friend, all of our friends are like great DJs too, and it's like it's so easy to get caught in that. But
yeah, because all the competition and then you start comparing yourself, but you gotta remember you can't compare yourself.
It's an art.
Well, exactly.
Everyone has their unique abilities.
So the biggest thing to like take a step forward in your career is forgetting that it's a competition, because it's not a competition. We're all just artists. We're all just out here
collaboration over competition.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So
that's great. So how do you guys handle mistakes during a performance?
We used to just like jump down each other's throats and but actually over the past like 18 months we've gotten exponentially better at it. Just like communicating, and I think
it's easier in all honesty. It's like easier just to like laugh off a mistake and be able to recover from it, because if you get upset about, especially when you're playing in a duo, if you get upset about something that's out of your control, which is him playing, then you have you're affecting what you're doing yourself.
Yeah.
So it's just like be able to like stay lighthearted and know that it's fun for you, it's fun for the audience, and it's fun for the listener.
Right. And a big thing that helped us make less mistakes was just practice more together. Because we've both had opportunities where we can practice a lot by ourselves, but now we're making it more of a point every single week to just be behind the decks and just play together. It doesn't have to be a curated set. It doesn't have to be for anything specific, but it's just doing it together.
Just jam sessions.
So you feel more comfortable.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that answer, because sometimes when something bad happens, it's so easy to get in that negative mood and like just dwell on it instead of just letting go. Yeah. Right? It's not
just
gonna
laugh
help.
it off and play the next track.
Exactly. Like I try not to let things affect me, and it's like, okay, just move on.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. But we keep trying, right?
Yeah. You gotta.
So what is it that makes you stand out from other DJ duos, do you think?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of things. I mean,
I have a whole list of things.
There's definitely a few things.
We're pretty cool.
But no, I think that we're trying to not market ourselves like twins. You know what I mean? That's like the hardest thing, because
it's obviously like it's pretty in the forefront of like when you look at us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the connection that we have like behind the decks and just knowing each other so well, like we almost non-verbally communicate when we're playing. It's like, all right, it's like we can almost just like make hand gestures and be able to communicate while we're doing it. And I think the fact that we've like shared our entire lives together kind of attributes to that fact, that we're able to like be so fluid without like having that much of a wall between us.
That's beautiful because I'm an only child, so I don't know what it's like, So I appreciate that you guys bring this energy and that you're so comfortable with each other and that you work to create a craft and bring art and music.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And I think the biggest part about art in general is that you have to try and portray a unique perspective. So like the best way that we can do it is the fact that we are twins and that we do have a unique perspective. And the best way that we found to kind of express that is through DJing and like the way that we do it together. So,
Do you guys get on each other's nerves a lot?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those arguments where if we're upset, we know we're gonna figure it out within like an hour and a half to 2 hours after that. It's like you can be as mad as you've ever been in your entire life, but a couple hours from now you're
it's like
still
once that blood boils down, you're
like I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah. Ow.
Ow.
Like you got a big ass oops. I messed up. You got a big bruise and you're like, sorry, bro, I didn't mean to punch you in the face.
I didn't, I swear.
Okay, so Shane, you're also an AV technician at Spin.
Yes, I am.
That's something that I've actually always been interested in, but I always see usually males doing that job. Mm-hmm. What is your job like? Like, what do you like about it?
Well, I mean, I just love working with the environment, like creating the full experience for a show, because the way that I see shows a little bit differently. And it's almost hard to enjoy some shows because of what I have to do for my work, like criticize my own light show, the way that everything sounds, and like you're constantly tweaking small things. So like when you go to another venue, like you kind of you're just constantly doing it. But what I love about it is just the fact that I get to be involved in like creating an experience for people.
I love
something that they're gonna walk away with and be like, that was so memorable for so many different reasons, and I had a finger in all of that happening. And that's, for me, that it's the most rewarding thing other than DJing, like, and I'm blessed. I'm super blessed. The fact that I have the job that I do because, like not very many people get to work with artists that we get at Spin and, get the opportunities to DJ and do light shows for some of the biggest artists in all of electronic music.
No, I agree. I think, working in this industry, and I was talking earlier about working at Riches, like sometimes like people don't understand what is like the nightlife work, I mean, it's beautiful, but it can also be draining, but it's also like rewarding. But at the end of the day, it's like a passion.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
you have to love it.
Yeah, you have to love it.
There's some weekends at Spin where we'll go Friday night, Saturday day, Saturday night, Sunday day, and that's, if you didn't love it, you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm just lucky that I get to be involved with so many amazing parties.
That's beautiful. And I know both of you also like graphic design, right? Or is it just you or is it both of you?
I mean, he's definitely more the graphic artist than I am, but
yes. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of flyer design and stuff like that.
That's really
and
cool.
also like visual designs. We come up with like concepts together too, which is really, like for our own personal stuff, which, it's a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, I keep my nose to the grindstone on that type of stuff. Like, I love it.
You're all full artistic people. Yeah, I love it. What about you, Pat? Do you have any other passion of yours besides DJing?
I mean, well, what brought me to California was the cannabis industry. That's what I've been doing for the last like 4 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I've worked on with a few collectives up north for a little bit, and a few grows down here in San Diego.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're like,
we'll just leave that. We'll just leave it
there. It's okay. And I know who to hit up now. Okay, so I like to shift my focus on your affiliation with StayBad. You guys are the co-founders of this label that started in Boston from small house parties to where it is now. And I want to know, why do you guys choose to come to San Diego?
San Diego at the time, like there was
a few different landing spots for us, and like the West Coast, no matter what, was going to be where we were going to end up.
You
and we had a couple friends that were living down here, and we were able, like, our partner Johnny was able to come down and like check it out, and he was like, he fell in love. And like, I'd spent some time in Frisco, and I had a great time, and I fell in love with it there too. But it was too expensive. LA was too much of a cluster of fluff. So
I love it. Cluster of fluff.
and we had some friends down here in San Diego, and it was like the weather, the women, the weed, it was all great down here.
Everything.
Yeah.
You got LA over there, you got Mexico downstairs.
Yeah,
you
you got
You got a
everything
little
you
bit
need.
of all walks of life, you
got
know.
everything. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love this place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think of living anywhere else. Every time I travel somewhere and I come back, I'm like, this is home. This is where it's at. So what are some of the difference between like the Boston scene or community from San Diego's?
I mean, the Boston scene that we were involved with was just not even close to like how many great
Ooh,
underground.
you heard that? Just kidding.
Yeah, how many great underground parties there are here. You know what I mean? Like, there's house and techno for someone who's like, you know, a passionate scene person in San Diego every single night of the week here. Out in Boston, it was like, you know, if you're outside of the actual city of Boston, there's like nothing.
Damn.
So, you know, in San Diego, like the greater San Diego County, like covers.
It's almost as big as Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So-
Yeah, I've never been, so I'll take your word from it.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what are your responsibilities as co-founders? What are your roles like?
I mean, everyone has definitely a role to play, but I mean, we all take part in deciding. We take votes on when or what events are going to happen when, and like who's going to be booked. It's definitely a group effort, but like,
Yeah, it's like I mean, we meet every Tuesday, the whole team, all the partners, and like the greater StayBad family. We meet, we talk about what's coming up for events, and we discuss it, and then everything kind of gets brought to the board. Like, do we think this is the best decision? Is this the best artist for this lineup? And we discuss it thoroughly, because we don't feel like that there should be a be-all, end-all, like, I'm the hammer on the decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have a pretty solid team.
Yeah. And
we all trust each other.
Yeah, and we trust each other when it comes down to, like, certain things. Like, I mean, for night of show, just because I have the most experience in working in nightclubs and just getting stuff done, I end up taking lead on that, but that's only because
Of the experience.
yeah. And people just trusted. It was not like it was bestowed upon me. It was
Yeah.
like, you're in charge. It was just more like
I'm doing it.
everything
You're
is happening.
You're the natural leader. That happened.
Everything is happening. Who do we look to? You know, type situation. You
That's
know.
really cool.
So, and it's been great, you know, watching everyone on our team kind of
Grow
find their
and
roles,
find their
and
roles.
and it's come really natural, and that's a really promising thing for our future, is that when you didn't force things to be what it shouldn't have been, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
try and mash a puzzle piece into
Yeah.
the spot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you guys have a great team going on, and
Yeah.
I see it every time I see all of you at events. You all look so happy, and I love it. You always have the great vibe. And I want to know, what are some of the changes that you've made this past year? Because it's been a year since we've talked about StayBad and House to Ourselves, or like some of the accomplishments that happened this past year.
So like the biggest changes that we did, we cut how many House to Ourselves we were doing in half this year. We didn't throw as many rooftop parties and stuff, but it kind of, because we were launching the record label this year, it gave us an opportunity to take some of those smaller dates to fill with our record label showcases. And that was a big thing.
Bring
Like,
artists in from that we had signed from like New York or Massachusetts or London, or just to have them come down to play with us, just because they were releasing on our label as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the biggest thing, but it just like opened the pathway for us to have, you know, like the record label take a little bit more prominence, rather than just, you know, just like throwing House to Ourselves all the time.
You have to kind of focus on one thing.
Right.
You know, it's so hard to multitask.
Right.
I mean, it's still going to be an umbrella. I mean, we can do all of it because we do have a big enough team. But
Yeah.
like we wanted because we were launching the label this year, we wanted to take the time to make sure that we are cultivating that properly, and as long as it was still fresh. Because when it's a new thing in people's minds, you don't want it to go stale. So when you put the energy into it when it's young, that's when it ends up sticking around.
Right. And also it gave us the opportunity, cutting House to Ourselves in half, to actually put put more into production, thought process, and everything onto the House to Ourselves brand, like caliber of artists and everything like that. So like the shows were fewer but better quality overall throughout the year.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like not just quality on production, quality of artists. Like, yeah, it definitely gave us some space to be able to do it. Because if you're trying to throw one every month, then it's like you end up feeling rushed to announce the next one.
Yeah, I mean, having 6 weeks of promo time, you know, in our mind is like, you know, necessary. But if you're doing one a month, then you have 2 House to Ourselves announced at the same time. For us, that was just like it didn't seem right. And yeah, so like this year we made a pivot, and it's worked out really, really greatly for us.
We also did a lot more that were like under the brand like StayBad and Friends, and a couple of the other brands like Let's Get Weird, and some of the smaller parties. We have secret lineup parties and like all that stuff.
Yeah,
It gave us
still active, but not.
It's just
Not
not
those
House
big
to
ones.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But that makes it so like that's our centerpiece, like party brand, and we get to curate all this other stuff underneath it, you know. And it's been a great year.
Yes, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I know we've been highlighting all the great stuff, but what are some of the challenges you've been facing this past year?
It's just a lot of like coming down to the wire because we are doing so much stuff. It's like almost
we
sometimes
slide into the finish line.
Yeah, slide into the finish line.
like we did today.
Yeah, sliding in. That's been the biggest challenge this year for sure. Also just like defining a little bit more of like our team's roles and everything like that.
And establishing music among like all of the artists that we have that are involved with StayBad and like all that stuff. It's just trying to find everybody the niche that where they're the most comfortable and where people are doing the best and can actually have the best opportunity for them to succeed. Which is it's tricky to figure out, but it takes time, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like growing pains, and that's been the biggest thing this year. Is definitely just growing pains. Is like we understand where we want to go, and we have all the right pieces to do it. Now it's about just like growing into those.
Kind of like putting them all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It takes time to build something, but you guys are doing amazing.
Thank you.
I'm proud of y'all. Yeah. And I would like to know, what are your thoughts on San Diego's electronic music community? Like some positives and maybe something that needs improvement.
I mean, I think the biggest positive is that it's actually before it's an electronic scene, it's an artist community. Like this is a community of artists that are people that are passionate, and it like honestly, it's a way greater artist community here than there is at like, you know, big market cities. You know, we just spent some time out in Vegas. We got to spend time with some, you know, like good people that are part of like a small community, but their small community of artists that are working so well together is like the whole city of San Diego. Like everyone in San Diego is working together, and that's absolutely the best thing. And I don't even want to leave this city because of that whole whole point.
It's just people around us support each other, and like there's so much love in the scene and the industry. It just makes you fall back in love with the music as well. Every single time you go and you see your friend accomplish something great on like a Tuesday night or whenever, that's, you know, it's an inspiring place to be for sure.
That's beautiful. I love that input, because I mean that's the whole reason why I'm doing this show, because I feel so inspired by all of you that are just making the community grow and bringing more awareness to the music and the beauty of it and the people. It's just, it makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
So we're all on the same page. Okay, so now I'd like to know on the human experience. Oh, I'd like to go on the human experience section where we're gonna go deep into your minds. So I would like to know whoever wants to start first.
I give PJ the.
You're gonna hand it.
Okay,
right.
What's something new that you recently learned about yourself?
Something recently that, oh man, I'm not good at like being alone that much. Even though sometimes I've been bartending for like 10 years, so sometimes I find almost peace in being surrounded by a lot of people. But then when you beg to be alone, it's like finally I'm alone, and then you're like alone for a little bit too long, and you're like, God, this is terrible.
Like, I need to go back.
Where are my friends?
Oh, that's interesting. For me, sometimes it's the other way around. Like, I need my alone time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the
So-
same way as you. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, we're all a little different, right? So now it's your turn. What would you regret not doing in your life?
yeah, that's a. I mean, I have one answer to it, but I don't know if I'm comfortable sharing it on the radio. I guess. I don't know. My biggest regret would be not appreciating some of the relationships I've had in the past as much as I when they were there. But yeah, but it led me here, and that's
Yeah, that's why it is. We just gotta learn from our mistakes and our adversities. Okay, PJ, what's something that makes you feel uncomfortable?
Asking awkward questions.
Hey, it's all about self-awareness. It's about self-awareness.
I know. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I don't know.
This question makes you feel uncomfortable.
No, no rudeness. In all honesty, like I said, because I've been bartending for years and years and years.
Oh my god!
Just
tell
like
me about it.
just some people's lack of tact and like how rude they can be to a complete stranger makes me feel really uncomfortable because there's a part of me that really wants to like lash out and be like,
oh my god,
what is wrong with you?
Right?
But there's a part of me that's just like, that's really not your place to be saying anything. Just like kind of throw that wall up.
I feel you. I'm lucky at riches that I can like lash out on people.
Yeah.
I can just be like, you want to get kicked out?
Yeah.
So,
Get that.
yeah, I get that. So I feel pretty fortunate. But they're, working in the service industry or like customer service or
Yeah.
music, everything is just, yeah, it can like stripe a little bit of your soul away.
Yeah. Oh,
every
definitely
single time.
does.
Yeah, because you like learn how people can be, and it's like, damn, like how can you be that mean? But then you also meet some beautiful, amazing people. So
Yeah, exactly.
gotta like look at the bright side, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Shane, what's the wisest thing you have ever heard someone say?
the wisest.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not be too hard on yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
Because I mean, just for me personally, that's the thing that I'm working on personally is just not being as hard on myself, and accepting criticism and accepting compliments too. Just
Yeah.
like don't be as hard as yourself, and like as hard on yourself as you should, like as I am.
Yeah.
And that's the wisest thing and I only put it there is because I'm still working on it. Because it's one of the things that I think about every single day. It's like you can't be that hard on yourself.
I
or
kind
else
of
you're
struggle with that too because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So when something doesn't go a certain way, like I like freak out a little bit. But then I'm like, okay, like calm down.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes like it doesn't have to go a certain way, or I feel like I should be doing something else, or I feel
could have
you.
done more. or
Yeah,
anything like that.
right.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't
Self-doubt.
like dwell on the past.
Self-doubt is the
It's-
demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you need to calm your demons in your head. Yeah, I feel you. Okay, so PJ, what would you do differently if you knew nobody could judge you?
What would I do differently if I knew nobody could judge me? I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I would have my hands completely tattooed if
Oh, really?
yeah. If I knew nobody could judge me, but
Oh, really? You would want that?
Yeah, I would want that. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for tattoos especially is like more of like a canvas thing that I'm using my body as a way to express artwork that I appreciate, and when I select like tattoo artists, stuff like that, you definitely want to have somebody that you have a connection with, and like try and let your body be a canvas for their artwork that they're trying to express.
Yeah, that's actually like a really cool point that you bring. I don't have any tattoos. Part of it is because I'm afraid of the pain, and another one is like
You're afraid of the pain. Go figure.
I know, right? I just like the thought of a needle, and it's just like, "Ugh." And also it's also that because usually like when you have tattoos, people automatically judge you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean that's exactly it.
yeah. So, okay, it's time for the Scarlet Letter, where you're gonna have to choose an envelope, open the envelope, and answer the question. So, both of you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you got two right there.
Oh, okay.
Well, he chose for me.
Yeah.
There we go.
That means you're going first.
Who we got here? If you could ask one person alive or dead only one question, who would you ask and what would you ask?
Yeah, we go deep here.
Yeah.
We go deep.
If I was gonna.
Go ahead, man.
I would ask Epstein if he killed himself.
Who's that?
It's a meme. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
okay.
just yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't really have a good answer for that one.
It's okay. Hey, that was good enough.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I got, if you could start your own secret society, what would it be about? So if, I mean, kind of run a little bit of a secret society anyway. Of underground, no, it's just underground artists. Like if our vision became like to full fruition, like we'd have a place like a compound out in the middle of the desert. I guess you could call it a secret society where, you know, you grow your own food and it's all about art and music and like a community-based thing where everyone's together. That would be the only secret society that I want, as long as everyone else doesn't know that we exist. That's why it's a secret society.
Okay, well, people know now, so too bad.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know where it's going to be. So
Okay.
You gotta come and find
I
us.
better get an invite.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed having you guys.
Yeah,
today.
it's been a
It was
pleasure.
great having you.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Thank you for opening up and for the energy that you bring. And
Thank
I just
you.
sometimes I still can't tell who
Yeah.
it is, but sorry about that. Thank you again. It's time to go back to your mix, and we'll return in a few minutes to finalize the interview. A few more questions.
Cool.
We'll see you in a bit, people. Hey, party people. I told you
yo.
we'll be back soon. I just want to know if you have any upcoming events.
Yeah, November 16th we are playing We Love Bass with
I'll be there.
Yeah, with the SD Union and United by Bass crew.
Hekakudo, Olivia Giacomoto, Dylan Andrew,
Yeah,
Maddie
Ophir,
Ladd.
yeah, Evlo, the Matt Egbert, and then a bunch of the drum and bass guys.
Awesome.
So it's gonna be a really, really fun event. After that, the day after that, StayBad is actually helping with the Dangle Zone for StayBad, Flatline, the Dangle
Create
Zone.
now.
Yeah, for Nico Stohan. It's at the Cesar Chavez Park, right down by the pier.
Oh, nice.
It's gonna be like a little day festival, art vendors,
go.
food.
2 to 9
Yeah.
p.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
let us know, and you're in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really fun one. We just announced House to Ourselves, Home Alone. So we're gonna be
Yes.
transforming Spin into Kevin McAllister's
Oh
house.
my God,
We're gonna be
I'm so
setting booby traps.
excited.
We're gonna be setting booby traps for everyone
Harmless
around
ones,
the
guys.
Yeah,
Harmless
yeah.
ones.
You're not gonna get hurt, but it's gonna be a really cool one. We this has been a brainchild for the last couple of years. We really wanted to do it last year, it just didn't really work out, but it's working out this year. So we got Blondish for that. It's gonna be a really, really cool
Epic.
event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 1 minute. What does the future hold for Postscript?
We're hoping that next summer we can take a little bit more time off from like me working at Spin, doing the regular events, and just traveling a lot more and playing. Like I know that we're going to be at WMC this year. We're going to do a small tour in the spring, hit East Coast, Northwest, that type of
Yes.
stuff. So
The handful of new music coming out in like the next 6 months.
yeah,
as well.
January we have our first solo EP coming out on StayBad. So that's going to be a big one for us. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being here.
Yeah,
I wish I
thank
had
you.
more time. I had a class.
Yeah.
And everyone, thanks for watching and listening. I'll be uploading everything on YouTube, Scarlet Letter Show. And we'll see you all next Thursday. Have a good night. See you at Technique
Thank you,
tonight.
thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.